What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rowdy Player One channel. I am Rowdy, and today we're going to go over my May, June, and July book of the months. I'm trying to catch up on videos, and since I didn't start YouTube until 2 months ago, it's all just I'm trying to catch up on them so I can keep up with it for the end of the year. Basically, I've got around 12 books I think I read in 3 months, and you'll see a theme. But first, I wanted to say today is October 9th, and that means I'm 2 days away from my 40th birthday, and I have a very special, I guess you'd say, announcement. I will be doing my first interview on that evening, so we'll call it a birthday interview with the wonderful Dave Lawson with his Envoys of War book. I'm about almost done with it, and this book is great. That's all I'm going to say. I'll have a review out probably next week on Rowdy's Rapid Reviews. I will try to get that done, but me and Dave's going to have hopefully a fantastic time on my first ever interview, so hopefully I don't screw that up, but I will do my best. So, all right, so let's get started. So on the first, let's see, we got April. We did 4 books, and the very first one that I did was Artificial Condition by Martha Wells. It is the first or second book of the Murderbot Diaries, and it was pretty good. I did this on audiobook. I I like the concept of this, which I know there's several of them, but just a robot that's basically depressed, going through what seems to be like ordinary life, who loves soaps, just general soaps, and like your normal everyday soap operas and stuff. But that's like his seems to be his thing in life is just let him watch his soaps and things will be okay. But it was pretty good. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And then started the fantastic, I guess you would say, the venture into the Cosmere, because that's what a lot of this is going to be. The first book after obviously that, and the first of the Cosmere, Mistborn Error One's The Final Empire. So this was great. I mean, whenever you've never, obviously, like me, like I had said, I've never read much of or any before now, and then getting into Brandon Sanderson, my goodness, I absolutely love this book. There's after I did it and got to the ending, I was like, how in the world is this going to get even better? You keep hearing things, oh, the series get better, and you go on, and then you've got the Stormlight Archive, and it's unbelievable. And after reading that first one, there's no way, it can't. Well, it does, but I digress. So after that, we went to The Well of Ascension. That was the next book in April. And this one was actually, it dropped, which I kind of figured it would, but the main reason that it was really good, don't get me wrong, this is definitely a 4-star read in my opinion. The Last Empire was definitely a 5-star. But the only reason I didn't like this is there's a lot of politics in it. And politics is fine, but I just felt like it lacked some action. And I'm a big character and action guy. I've come to figure out the more that I read and get into all these different stories, the more I've come to see that I need things going on. I don't like watching books that you just or watching books. That don't make sense. I don't mean to sit. I can't just sit there and read page after page after page of people talking political this and we got to do it. Just I don't know. It bores me and I can't help it. So after that, the last book I read in April was, of course, The Hero of Ages. Unbelievable ending. I mean, it is great. What Vin becomes, and um, man, it's so awesome. The last 200 pages of this book is some of the best I've ever read. I mean, loved it. All right. Now, after I finished that trilogy, I was thinking like, hey, what is there to even do? You know, you just finished one of the best, well, the best trilogy I'd ever read in my life at the time, you know, and because I hadn't done nothing else. So then I was like, let's go to something completely opposite. Heard really great things. So then I went to Stormfront, Jim Butcher, the Dresden Files, and it's pretty good. Everyone says, I think, like the third or fourth book, I think, is whenever it starts to like really expand and things definitely changing, get bigger scoped and goes further out. But this one was pretty good. I mean, there wasn't nothing wrong with it, nothing that I didn't, enjoy. It was much smaller in scale and scope and all of it. But I enjoyed Harry Dresden. I thought he was a really cool character. So I'll definitely at some point later, go back to um, reading the Dresden Files. I know there's a ton of books that he has out, so I'll eventually get back. Then we went to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is love. I absolutely loved this book. I did the audio book with it. And then after I did it, because I liked it so much, I was like, I remember watching the movie back in the day. It's like, I'll go back and watch it because I bet it's good. I liked it at the time. Ooh, awful. It's so bad. Like the book, especially the audio book, is really good. And the movie, they going back and seeing how it was back then, it was terrible. I would I would highly not recommend going back and watching that movie. It was so bad. Then after that, we went to Warbreaker. No, that's all I could say. I didn't like it. Magic system, okay. It's a basically color system on it, and I don't know. I kind of felt it was basically the same thing as like what was it? The Well of Ascension. Really political, I guess, and well, I don't know. There wasn't in my opinion, there wasn't enough action in it for me. And I know a ton of people love this book. And I really thought going into it that I would like it, but I just couldn't. I don't know. After going through and doing the first Mistborn trilogy, this went way downhill, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. And I think I've come to find out so far, I've only liked one of his standalones. Um, and you'll see which one coming up. But this one just did not do it for me. Was not a fan. Then we went after that to what was next? Red Rising. Now this is action. That is all that this book is, it feels like. Um, Absolutely love this book. Darrow, fantastic character. Just the brutality and just everything that he goes through just to go after the golds. And oh my goodness, I can't wait to continue this series. This is one of the series that I want to definitely knock at least the first trilogy out next year. If not, try to get all of them. I think the seventh book might come out next year. I think that's what I've heard a few things about, but man, just I'm ready for what is it, Golden Sun, and then what Morning Star. That's it. That's the first trilogy. I at least want to do those other two books to get this first trilogy done. They say the second trilogy is way darker. I think I've heard something that's like it may even go to like grim dark status. So I am very curious to see how this goes. But yes, this one right here was next, and that actually ended my May. Um, Yes, that ended my May. So after that, I went to another audiobook and I did Yellowface by R.F. Kwan. I loved that book. It was so good. It was about an author who was friends with a mega super author, basically, who like everything she touched turned to gold. And basically, I mean, would get like, I guess, jealous, sort of, and of her because she was so successful. It's like everything she put out was just great. And then what the other author did was no big so what I'm looking for hits, basically you could say, on her part. And they were out at the club and then went home one evening, and they somehow, the other author, the super famous one, died, and she was there. And I won't tell the whole story. Basically, though, she said she gets her script and things happen from there. I'll leave it at that. Doesn't spoil anything because that's like the very first like 2 chapters of the book. But it was really good, really interesting. But I would highly suggest going and checking it out if you haven't. But I liked it. Then we went to George Orwell's 1984. This was on his audiobook, but on Audible. The newest version that had, what's it called, where they get all these big time actors who play it. I can't think of it, but anyways, it had Andrew Garfield and Toby, or not Toby, the guy that plays Venom. I can't think of his name neither. Anyways, it had them. They were the two like big superstars basically that played it. But it had music and a lot of special effects in it that you could hear, and it was all right. I wasn't a super big fan of it, I guess, because there's just so much going on, like hearing explosions and people yelling while they're having conversations, and I don't know, there's too much for me. Like, it's hard for me to concentrate when there's that much stuff going on. So did it, and it was all right. After that, we went to Tress of the Emerald Sea, Brandon Sanderson yet again. And I loved this book. Highly suggest if you have not read it and you like Princess Bride, here you go. Because it's funny, it's witty. Action scenes were very good, very different. But yeah, you should definitely check this one out. It was fantastic. I'd probably say, to me, this was a 4.5-star book. Very, very good. For a standalone, which, like I just said, I was not a fan of Warbreaker. And I've read one or two other of his standalones, and they have not been impressed. But I don't like them. But this one was great. Now, I've not read Yumi, and I've not read The Sunlit Man, but supposedly those are supposed to be really good. But of his secret projects, right now, it's first and only one I've read. Very, very fantastic. And then the last month of June was the start of the Stormlight Archive, and we went to The Wakings. This was great. After you got through the first 500 pages, in my opinion, I feel like if I would go back now and reread this after I'm right now, 10%, probably about 10% done with Oathbringer, and everything is just coming together. Words of Radiance is my book of the year right now. Like, it's leading by a large margin, and knowing about it so much and loving it, I feel like if I went back and read The Way of Kings, I would probably pick it up even more than where it is. I'm still I would give this a 5-star because I know it's crazy. Which it was just me. I had to read like the first 500 pages, and I thought it was just too much stuff going on, and trying to figure out what the heck all these people and characters and shard bearers and shard plate and I mean the Stormfather, trying to figure all that out. It's like so much. But I don't know, it was like after those first 500 pages, everything clicked into place and I started figuring stuff out and understanding it more. And it was unbelievable. The ending of this is great. So I would highly suggest starting the Stormlight. If you do not start this, if you've not read any Brandon Sanderson, I think you need to do Mistborn first for sure to kind of get your bearings of how Sanderson writes. And for one, they're not 1,000-page books, they're 400 to 500, which makes it a whole lot easier. But this was great. All right, so now we are going to pick the books of each month. We're going to go April, May, and June. And I mean, most of this should be pretty obvious on what they're going to be. But so they are going to be in April. We've got Mistborn, Final Empire. This will take April's position for book of the month. May is going to be Red Rising. Man, I can't wait to keep going with this. And June will be The Way of Kings. I just, like I said, I am continuing this right now, and it's great. So yeah, that's what we've got for the April, May, and June books of the month, and the, I guess you'd say, second quarter books. I hope y'all enjoyed this, and if you would, please like and comment on the video, and I'll put a lot of these down in the description if any of y'all are interested in purchasing them. I'll have the Amazon links. And yeah, subscribe to the channel, and y'all have a great day.